Hello and welcome, my name's Classical101 and welcome back to Binge Watchathon. Last week we began our adventures into the Marvel Netflix universe with the first season of Daredevil, and now this week we're going to continue with the first season of Jessica Jones. Let's jump into it. Jessica Jones deals with a lot of dark and interesting themes. While Daredevil may have been grittier than expected, I don't think anybody was ready for a comic book show about rape, alcoholism, PTSD, and substance abuse. Jessica Jones follows the title character, Jessica Jones, and her struggle of being a private eye in New York, as well as dealing with her dark past, which we uncover through the series. When a shadowy figure named Kilgrave from Jessica's past returns, she has to face her demons. She does this with help from a lawyer named Hogarth, her sister through adoption Trish Walker, Malcolm, her friendly neighborhood drug dealer, and a police officer named Will Simpson, who's basically discount Captain America. Now, the first thing I really want to talk about is the big problem with this show, and that is its pacing. The show starts slow for the first few episodes, really picks up in the middle, goes slow for a few more episodes before finishing relatively strong. It can feel very disjointed, and it can mean a few episodes are hard to get through. However, when it does get around to hitting the right notes, it hits them pretty damn hard. Alright, now we've got the big negative out of the way, let's talk about the two most important people in this show, Jessica Jones and our villain, Kilgrave. When we're first introduced to Jessica, she's a super strong, heavy drinking, self-loathing private eye who's avoiding all personal connections. As the series moves forward, we find out that after a short stint as a superhero, Jessica was telepathically kidnapped by a superhuman named Kilgrave. David Tennant's Kilgrave is a special kind of villain. It's impossible to tell how much of it is in the performance and how much of it is in the power he's given. See, Kilgrave, or as he's known in the comics, the Purple Man, has the ability to make anyone do anything he wants just by telling them to. While this sounds incredible, you realize if you think on it for a second, it's actually terrifying. And that's really what the subject matter of Jessica Jones explores the most. Sure, it has time for superhero fights, fun scenes with powers, but there's also the underlying themes of stalking, abusive relationships, and rape. Yup, Jessica Jones in this show is a victim of sexual assault, and the show does not mince words when it comes to talking about this. The themes in this show and how they're presented are very strong, and one of the more unique parts of the program. While I really liked Wilson Fisk in Daredevil, and do hope he returns, Kilgrave pulls ahead for one key reason. While I'd argue that Fisk is a more interesting and unique character, rather than just a charming sociopath, Kilgrave has one simple advantage. He has a better connection to the protagonist of the show. In Daredevil, Matt Murdock and Wilson Fisk fight twice and interact a handful of times, with most of the season's conflict coming from the actions and crimes Fisk commits and how they affect Matt. However, in Jessica Jones, it's a far more simple game of cat and mouse. A few episodes in, and Jessica and Kilgrave are talking, interacting, jabbing at each other, and trading blows back and forth. Jessica can't just take out Kilgrave, due to the fact that if she tried, he would just tell her to stop, and Kilgrave doesn't want to take out Jessica, because he claims he's in love with her. This gives them the unique opportunity to talk without them trying to kill each other. Other shows don't really get to do this, because if two characters are just sitting down in the room and talking, we're wondering why they're not trying to murder each other. In Jessica Jones, Jessica can talk with Kilgrave, try and figure him out and figure out a way to stop him, but can't really do anything, because if she tries, he'll just tell her to stop. This gives us so many great scenes of the hero and villain just talking to each other, and that's something a lot of shows just don't get to do. This means that when they do finally come to blows, it's a lot more emotional and hits a lot harder. However, this does create the issue with pacing. While talking is good, We do need some action and some big plot revelations every now and again to keep the story moving. Overall, this sums up Jessica Jones quite well. Everything great about it also has a downside. The villain's a lot of fun, but he's also a complete monster, so you can't really root for him. The dark tone is good, but at times it can be too dark for its own good. While Jessica should stay in her depression-fueled spiral, some contrast from the supporting cast would really have shown how far she's fallen. The lack of martial arts-esque action really sets it apart from Daredevil, but there's no real action of substance to speak of. The private eye aspect is great, but it isn't embraced nearly enough. Look, Jessica Jones isn't a perfect show. There's issues with pacing, plotting, characters. There's issues with everything. But for every issue, there's something great in there just waiting to get to the surface. And when it does get to the great things, it's amazing. However, your enjoyment of the show is really going to depend on how many of these flaws you notice and how much the flaws matter to you. If you can look past them, it's great. If you can't, you're not going to have that great of a time. I'd like to give Jessica Jones an 8 out of 10, but because of some of the issues with pacing and plotting, I think the best I can do is 7. What did you guys think of Jessica Jones? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you guys next time for the next Binge Watchathon.
I don't know what just happened there, but you're gonna sit down and give us a shot to win our money back.
I've got a better idea. Let's see how long it takes you to put your head through that post.
Oh! Whoa, whoa! What are you doing? Harvey, stop!